Hi, good evening. Hello,
Good evening. Good
can
evening.
you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, welcome to our session today. We are going to learn about menu and menu knowledge. In our previous lesson, we just did a brief introduction. So today, I want us to check on menu and menu knowledge and our learning outcomes by the end of the session. You should be able to define the term menu and menu knowledge. Also, you should be able to state at least 4 types of menus, characteristics, and also some of the factors to consider when you're preparing or planning for a menu. So as we begin, we'll begin with the basic things. We can try to define menu. Like, how do you understand venye mnaelewa menu ni nini? You can raise your hand and say something. Anyone with an idea of what is a menu?
Okay, I can say a menu is a list of food and drinks, food and beverages offered in our hospitality operation or a restaurant or, by a food service provider.
Yeah, that's correct. Menu can be a list of food and beverage items offered by a food service establishment. Just as Lorraine has mentioned, most of us go to hotels and cafeterias, and before you order food, lazima utapewa menu. That small paper ama hiyo kakadi kadogo yenye unapewa is what is referred to as a menu. And then menu knowledge is the understanding that the food and beverage staff must have about the menu being offered. Like, assume for us in the hospitality department, usikue customer anakuja kukuulizia a certain type of meal, maybe unafaa kumadvise on the correct accompaniment to use, then hauna idea, that won't depict a good picture. That's why you should have at least some idea. That's what is referred to as menu knowledge. So next, I would like us to look at some of the types of menus that we know. If I may ask anyone with an idea of any type of menu, you can either type in the comment section or raise your hand and give us your opinion. Yes, Ruth, you can unmute.
Okay. The first one that I know is a menu called a la carte, the a la carte menu.
Yes. Can you give us a brief description of what an a la carte menu is?
Okay. The a la carte menu is a menu that has a variety of food items that are displayed, and usually it doesn't have restrictions. Like you can, a very good example is of an a la carte menu is the one that is offered in kibandaskis, for lack of a better word. Like you can walk in and find the food at any time and also at a stated price.
Yeah, that's correct. I'm going to give you my notes, or I'll share my screen so that you can see what's an a la carte menu. A la carte is derived from the French language. And normally in a la carte menus, the foods are individually priced. Like when you go to a given establishment, you'll find they've grouped. If it's chicken dishes, they are arranged differently, and the accompaniments are also arranged in their own side, so that when you decide to choose, maybe if it's chicken curry with the accompaniment, if it's rice, you'll account for each meal. At the end, you'll pay for, let's say the chicken is 500 shillings and rice is 200, you'll have to pay 700 shillings. I hope we are getting along well. And also, it doesn't have a limitation to the customers, like you can choose yours, the one that you wish that is pleasing to you. And the disadvantage of the a la carte menus is that they are normally expensive because the ingredients are priced differently, and the ingredients also tend to be fresh, making the sizes to be flexible. That's the major disadvantage that is involved with the a la carte menus. So next we're going to check on, I'll give you some other examples. So we have another example of table dots. On this table dot, menus are normally offered at a fixed price, whereby you find if a certain dish, let's say it's chapati and red meat or beef stew and sauteed spinach, you'll find that this dish, they're all served in one plate, but the price is singular. Unlike a la carte, where each dish will account for its own price, the table d'hote is like it's limiting you to one price, and normally it will include the starter, the main course, and dessert. Sometimes coffee can be offered at the end of the meal, or it can't be. Then the meals are prepared prior to service. Like if a client walks into an establishment, you'll just get in, you find like the meals are already prepared, then you'll choose the combination yenye unaona fits you is the one that you'll go with. And then another feature is that it's economical to most of the people because it's not standardized like hike or fixed, just giving you one choice and you take it. Now, I don't know if you have ideas of other various types of menus zenye you can mention, or rather type any other that you know. You don't have to describe it widely, you just state another kind of menu that you know. Yes, Ruth.
We also have the buffet menu as a type of menus that we have.
Yes, that's correct. Any other person with an idea? I don't know if you still want to give us an answer or you're lowering your hand. It's okay, I've seen you've lowered. So I'll briefly tell you about other menus. We have the hospital menu. The hospital menu is normally offered in a hospital setup, whereby you find the menu is brought maybe a day or 2 days before, then the patient is given an option to choose from the list of dishes that are offered, so that the chefs can go prepare the meal. Like inakuja, okay, as I've said, 2 or 1 days before, and then the food will be served on the given day. Then we have the cyclic menu. Just from the word cyclic, it rotates, like it can work from maybe, let's say, January to March, then from May or April, the kind of menu that will be offered in a given setup, if it's a school, like it will change. And then after certain period is over, the one that began is the one that is going to be rotated or repeated. Like from the word cyclic, inaenda in a circular manner. I don't know if you're getting me or speaking to myself. Just give me a thumbs up if you're together. Yeah, that's correct. Now I'd like us to check on some of the factors to consider when planning a menu. And with that, I'd like you to type in the comment section, in the chat section, some of the factors to consider when planning for a menu. In layman's language, ukitaka kutengeneza chakula chako, ni vitu gani vile ambavyo unafaa kuangalia? Like what should you consider most, like the costs? I'd like you to think, brainstorm on that and type on the chat section. Then we'll go through your answers. I see we are like 7 people. So I'd like each of you to give at least 1 point on what you should consider when planning for your menu before I give you my own points. Hey, are you people getting me? Feel free to type on the chat section some of the factors that you think we should consider when planning for a menu. Yeah, I see you had already given some feedback. Hospital, seasonal, that's correct. Yes, type of menu, foods in season, location. Yeah, foods in season is important so that you don't have to do what? Like you should not plan for a meal. Let's say you're planning, if you're having a juice shop, you're planning to sell mango juice. And with that period, you have, let's say, like oranges. You see, you won't have a sale. So it's important to consider the foods in season. Then also the types of customers you're dealing with is correct. When preparing for your menus, consider those people with the health issues, like let's say those who are diabetic. Plan for menus which best suits their health. Also children, you cannot plan for, let's say, nyama choma for a 4-year-old. So even the teeth is still growing. So it's important to consider the types of customers that you are dealing with. Then also the type of menu is very important. As we had mentioned from the types of menus that we had said, the a la carte, the table d'hote, the children menu. We also have school menus. It's important to consider that so that you won't have to account for losses. I don't know if the rest you have an idea of factors. See, every day in our homes, we must eat. Like in our own homes, we are caterers or we are planners. So you can just write those things that you think you consider first before settling on a meal to take on a particular day. Yes, Ruth?
We can also say the nutritional balance in the
Yes.
sense that when you're preparing a menu, you're supposed to put into consideration and know that once the meal is prepared, you're supposed to meet the nutritional values, whereby you'll have the protein, carbohydrate, and vitamin all at the same time.
Yeah, that's nice. Let's clap for her. I just appreciate her for the good points that she has given us. So I'm going to give you my own points. Yeah, that's good. I'll give you some of the factors to consider when planning for a menu. We just go through them briefly. Nutritional balance, Ruth has already mentioned. Customer needs and preferences. Someone typed, Lorraine typed seasonality, yes. Variety of dishes. Availability. These points interrelate with each other. Then we also have the cost. It's very important. You don't plan for something yenye won't sell. At the end, you'll have to get losses and it won't be of help to you. Then also skill and staff. That's also important, whereby when you're planning for a certain dish, ensure that the people that you have or your employees can be able to prepare that following the standard recipe. They can prepare and serve the dishes to the customers without any complaints. Equipment and facilities. Ensure that the equipments that you have are those which can be relied on and that they can help you produce a good quality of food. Then occasion, I think that one had been mentioned for weddings, school meals, hospital diets. See, those ones varies. For parties, you'll find that you have mostly snacks and drinks. For school meals, it's a limited choice. For weddings, you'll find a lot of dishes that are prepared and they're set in a buffet. Then we also have time of service, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They mostly differ. See, those people who'll take heavy lunch, but in dinner they'll take just a light meal. Those who will prefer to take a heavy breakfast and maybe they won't have to take another meal for the rest of the day. So it's important to consider. Like you don't have to put or plan for people a small portion of food in the morning, then in the evening you give them a heavy meal. It's not healthy. Then food presentation and appeal. You choose dishes that complement each other in color, flavor, aroma, and texture. Now this one comes in situations you'll find that someone is planning maybe to prepare rice, cabbage, and chicken. You see those colors, they're all white dishes. Rice is white, cabbage is white, chicken is white meat. It won't give a good picture. And all of us here, I hope we've gone through the menu planning at a larger picture in our practical classes. When you're planning, ensure your colors of the meals like aziko ile tawambiaje, just one color. The dish won't be giving that vibe you want. If you're choosing a dish to go with rice, ensure your veggies are green, or you can take mixed veggies. Then the protein, you can take it to be beef stew or liver. Like let the colors complement each other. Then also avoid repetition of ingredients. Let's say someone is deciding to prepare carotid chapati. At the same time you're preparing carotid cabbage, that won't give a good picture. Like the carrots will take the larger percentage of the meal. just ensure that the presentation, like when you're giving someone that food or you're serving it to the table, this person looks forward to it and the person will appreciate. Now, having learned that, I'd like to bring our lesson to the end. But before that, I'd like us to go conduct this assignment. I'd like you to go check on the disadvantages and advantages of the menus, the a la carte and table dot. You go do a thorough research on that. Then in our next session, we will go through them. Yeah, I don't know if anyone has a question before we conclude our session for tonight, for this day. And I hope you've all learned something. You can give me a thumbs up if the lesson added some value to you. And you can also clap for yourselves. Yeah, that's correct. Just go do that assignment, then we'll meet in the next session. Have a nice day.